to be here with you today, and while I have some things to talk about, I'm just going to skip ahead real quick, because this is the one that's the most important. And Don, one, I never want to follow you again, because you were very funny and engaging, but I just wanted to take a moment and say gratitude one more time to all the organizers. So if you helped, you volunteered, can you please stand up for a second? Don, that's you, up. Thank you. Imagine the amount of hours you put in for this event and all of the planning and heartburn, but it has manifested into a really, really meaningful moment, and so thank you for that. I also just want to call out all of the staff and our AmeriCorps members that work on A20. Can you raise your hand and say hi? And we're so glad you're here. And if you're an A20 collaborator, could you put your hand in the air? Look at that, look at this community. This is amazing. This is amazing. All right, my last gratitude is for each and every single one of you for spending a minute to be with us here today. I can't tell you how full my heart is. As I walk into the space, there are actually tears in the back of my eyes, feeling what we are building and what we are doing. This work is hard. This is hard work. This is labor of love work, but we are doing it. Every single one of you is doing something that is making our world a better place, not just here in Ann Arbor, but it is scaling. We are seeing it move throughout the county. We are seeing it move throughout the state. We are seeing it move throughout the country, and we are seeing it move throughout the world, and that is because of you. And so I am delighted to be here, but I am just a single person that is lucky enough to work with every single one of you every day. And if I don't, please come and talk to me, because we want you in the movement. So join us, okay? All right, that's the most important thing. Let's just go get drinks. It's great. All right, I'm gonna go backwards to go forward. So what I was gonna do today, you've heard A20 a lot. I'm gonna do a real quick overview in case it is new and point you to where you can go get more information. Then I was asked to talk about kind of solar and community solar for all, but I'm gonna make that renewables for all. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about some exciting things on the horizon, both in the city and throughout the state. And then I want to end with an invitation into the movement. Everyone okay? Thumbs up? Let's go. Here we go. All right, so A20. You've heard it a number of times. A20 is our community's plan, framework, goals, and actions to achieve a just transition to community-wide carbon neutrality by the year 2030. Is it audacious? Heck yes it is. Is it aggressive? You bet your butt. And are we gonna do it? Yeah, we are. We're gonna figure out how to do this, right? And this is what all of us are in the movement to achieve, okay? Now here's the thing, we don't actually have a playbook. We've never done this, no one has ever done this, right? So we have to experiment, we have to figure this out together, which is why whatever idea you're sitting on is probably a really important idea for us to be exploring. So please don't hold back. While we have experts in lots of different spaces, we have to work together because this work is intersectional. Okay? So please don't be afraid. Your lived experience is sufficient enough to be a leader in this movement. So our A20 plan, we often talk about as being a living plan, right? The words on the page, my team gets so mad when I say this, but they're wrong, right? Words, we wrote words in 2019 and 2020. We wrote them under a federal administration that looks very different than the administration we have. We wrote them in a world without funding support. We wrote them in a world before COVID, right? Lots of things have changed, and that's okay. And that's why this plan is living. But what is true about this plan is these are the 7 overarching strategies that have to persevere if we're gonna hit our goal. We have to figure out how we're gonna power our entire electric grid with 100% renewable energy. Great news, there's ways to do it. We have to invest in deep energy efficiency because we can't waste energy anymore, right? We've got to figure out how we transition to electric. We've got to move off of fossil gas. We've got to move away from gasoline and diesel because we've figured out how to make that electric clean. We've got to reduce the vehicle miles we travel in those cars by 50%, right? That's not a joke. That's a big task, but we're up to it. We've got some ideas here. Suzanne's working on some great stuff in the back. You gotta go talk to her. We also have to invest in a circular economy. I heard Yusuf give shout outs to that if you were in the sustainable food system. That's right, Yusuf's great, we love Yusuf. Woo! We have to move away from take, make, waste, right? We've got to move to keeping things in circulation. When this microphone is done being a microphone, it still has useful parts. How do we keep those parts in circulation? How do we stop extracting from the planet and from each other? How do we form more relationships with the things in our lives? Because I don't know about you, I love my cell phone, but it doesn't actually bring me much happiness and joy, right? What does is being in community, being in conversation with you. So how do we get back to that relational element? We also have to acknowledge that climate change is already here. I mean, look at the last 2 weeks, right? It's just incredible what we're experiencing. That means we have to invest in the resilience of our people and our place. We've got to make sure that we're building the social connections, the physical infrastructure, the support systems we need so every person can survive and thrive, no matter what comes. And we need to do all of that in a way that centers equity. Equity is not a lens, that's a privilege. Y'all, I know you're here, but I can't make out any of your features, right? So if I make equity a lens in this work, I can choose to take it on and off. We've got to figure out how it's at the core of what we do. And that's part of this other strategy, as well as deep community engagement, transparency, measuring the efficacy, experimentation. Again, it's okay not to get it right. That's not failure, right? That's experimentation. Failure is when you keep doing the same thing over and over again and are unwilling to learn from it. We're not gonna fail. We're gonna mess up, and we already have, but we're gonna keep moving together. So these are the things that are core. Surrounding them, I'm not gonna show you the slide. There are 44 actions. Our office is actually working on about 52 actions. So there's others we missed, as you can probably tell, to figure out how we're gonna achieve these particular objectives. And this is just a little slide kind of demonstrating what it looks like day in and day out for us, right? I know that's hard to see. It's everything from our Solarize program. We're planting trees in underserved areas. It's doing fun, silly things, like the distilling company doing a special A20 drink called Solarize, where the proceeds actually go to low-income solar programs in our community, right? So again, no matter what you do day to day in your job, there's space for you in this movement. So come and join us. So I want to pivot now just to talk about a few of the technical kind of elements that are out there. And if you have questions, grab me after. If we have time, I'm happy to take some. This is an exciting one. Has anyone ever heard in the last few months of Solar for All? I know Michelle has in the back. Yeah. Okay. This is a federal program US EPA is putting out. It is hundreds of millions of dollars that states are able to apply for to increase access to renewable energy. The state of Michigan put in a very, very large grant that the city of Ann Arbor helped inform, making sure that we were focusing on helping low-income households be able to access renewable energy. The state put in for $250 million, and we expect to hear any day now whether or not we won. I am really excited about this program. You can see some of the initiatives that are kind of called out. There's something called brownfields to bright fields. The idea is we have a lot of land that we have not taken very good care of. We haven't been great stewards of. Think landfills, right? How do you take those landfills where you really don't have many productive uses and turn it into a bright field, a renewable energy space? Take something that's polluting the air and the water and completely turn it on its head, right? The problem, and the reason this hasn't been done, that's expensive. It is really easy in our current system to take out agricultural land, and just put renewables on them. It costs more to have intentionality and purpose, to go into land that has contaminants, because you can't spread those contaminants. So you have to take different practices and approaches to how you deploy renewable energy. Well, let's do that, right? Let's flip that script. And if we are gonna put solar and wind in ag land, let's work with the farmers to do that. Because in fact, in many crops, that can be a steady source of revenue, right? As the weather is getting more and more chaotic, if they knew that they could still have productive land, but also have guaranteed $10,000, $20,000 worth of revenue from renewable energy, that's a win-win. That helps farmers keep their land, right? And keep it local as opposed to having to sell it to big conglomerates. So let's find ways to lean into the values that we have. And this is part of what the state is looking to do with Solar for All. So I don't have a lot about how this money will flow down, because we haven't won yet. But we will. I feel really good. I feel really good about this one. And when that happens, our office will be pushing out a lot of information through our newsletters and other channels, through our community, through our collaborators network, so stay tuned. I do believe there will be some funding for nonprofits, including houses of worship, so stay tuned. This is an impossible slide for you to read, but I promise to share it with you. I wanted to pivot. That was Solar for All, and its focus really is explicitly on solar energy. But we know there's other types of renewables, and there's other initiatives. So this isn't even everything that our office is doing on renewables, but it's kind of a snapshot of some of the things that are going on. And I just want to call out a few of them. This is just like a magical, amazing time for renewable energy deployment. It's also completely overwhelming. But what were some of the things we're working on? We were very, very, very lucky, just kidding, to win a U.S. Department of Energy grant. You guys, you need me to do this.
What are you going to do with that microphone?
I'm gonna
There's another
break down its constituent parts and I'm gonna recycle it or repurpose it. I got it. Grab the other one. I'm gonna switch them up. How about now? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It's great. Yes. Thank you for problem solving with me. All right. So we were very lucky. Okay, that sort of sounds like we didn't do a lot of work and put a lot of intentionality into it. We were very fortunate to have an incredible team and put together a proposal to the U.S. Department of Energy to design a district geothermal system in one of our neighborhoods not far from here, the Bryant neighborhood. It's just down the road. This neighborhood we've been working with for almost 3 years. The residents have stepped up and told us they want to be the most sustainable neighborhood in America. And we've said, okay. So we've been fundraising. We've been working with them to figure out what that looks like, what that means. It's been everything from some tree plantings to a local food forest that we planted in one of our parks, doing stormwater management issues because that area floods, to actually starting to fundraise to make improvements in homes. So we've raised enough money to help approximately 50 homes make on average $30,000 each home of improvements to help them on their decarbonization journey. This particular neighborhood does happen to be 75% live below the federal poverty level, which is really hard to do in Ann Arbor. It also happens to be predominantly Black, Indigenous people of color in this particular neighborhood. So when we decided we were going to pursue this a district geothermal system, means you're tapping into the earth, but not just you for heating and cooling, you're sharing it. And the example I'll give, I'm happy to share some technology here. Your furnace, if you're really lucky, is 98% efficient. Okay, your natural gas furnace. Geothermal systems, single unit, 300% efficient, right? So every 1 unit of energy you're taking out, you're getting 3 units. District geothermal, shared geothermal, 600% efficient. And if you can do what's known as a thermal energy network, where you're actually capturing waste heat, 900% efficiency. That is almost thermal runaway. Well, that is extraordinary. So we got a grant to design a shared geothermal system for 262 households, the Bryant Elementary School, a community mental health facility, a public community center, the Bryant Community Center, and our public works facility. The reason that's important, that's a lot of different kind of users. And we have lots of different users, you have a much better balance of the heating that goes through that. That grant was awarded late last year. We're in the design elements right now, and because we were one of 11 communities across the country to win, we will be eligible in October for funding to implement it. That is extraordinarily exciting. I'm so excited. Thank you. But you know, we need to do that in more places, don't we? We can't just do one neighborhood, right? No, that wouldn't work. So that's why on Monday night, City Council approved a contract for a firm to actually come in and help us design thermal energy networks for the whole city. Because what if we could do that, right? Like, how cool is that? Yeah. And what if we're able, I don't know if we are. This is what we're doing in the research and the design. If we are able to actually design a system that gets you heating and cooling for the same price, if not cheaper than what you pay right now. What do you think about that, right? Wouldn't that be extraordinary? So we're trying to see if we can do it. But here's one of the values we hold in A20. It is simply not enough for Ann Arbor to do this by ourselves. It will not work if we figure out a pathway that is unique to our culture and our place. So we work really, really hard to try to figure out pathways that are scalable and replicable through at least Michigan, but ideally throughout the country. So we're doing this, believe it or not, I think in the same physical space as our gas utility, saying, what if you're not a gas utility anymore? What if you become a thermal utility? What if you stop selling fossil gas altogether? And what if this is your future? Because if you can do that, you can do it everywhere. The entire service territory throughout all of Michigan. This could be the future, right? I don't know if it'll work, but that's the kind of relationship. That's why we don't always move as fast. You probably heard the saying, you can go very fast by yourself,
but you go very far together, right? So we're building those coalitions. So that's one of the projects we're really excited about in our office. That geothermal study will kick off in about 2 weeks. It'll be about 18 months. We're gonna be doing some boring. We're gonna be understanding what kind of opportunities there are here for us. We also run a solarized program. Has anyone heard of that? Anyone participate? Oh, you guys, you're such a great audience. This is so great. Has anyone participated in Solarize? Kim and Jim have. That's excellent, excellent. What this is sort of a downplay of it. It's kind of like a Tupperware party for solar. That's how I think about it, yeah. So we work with our local solar installers and we bring them into the program. We monitor them as staff to make sure they're offering factual information. We help them with permitting. We make sure they're not price gouging. And then we find someone in the community who wants to get solar. So if Tim wanted to get solar, Tim would go and he would talk to any of these folks and find the one he likes the most. It may be the one who offers the lowest price. It may be the one who uses union labor. It may be the one who he goes to synagogue with, right? Whatever the reason is, it's irrelevant. And then Tim tells his friends and invites them to come hear about why he's going solar. So it is not us. It is Tim's story, and Tim's story with his friends who trust him, who know him, and then they say, you know what, I want to get a quote for solar, and I want to get a quote for solar. And that solar installer offers a discount to everyone who comes in through Tim because they didn't have to do any marketing. So all of their marketing budget is completely slashed. So what we're able to do is knock down the cost of solar even further. Then we give you the federal tax incentive, and now more and more people can access renewable energy that weren't able to before. So this is a wildly successful program. In about 3.5 years, we've gotten to almost 5 megawatts of solar. To give you a sense, the average residential install is somewhere around 6 to 7 kilowatt hours. So we've helped hundreds, almost 600 Ann Arborites in 3.5 years get solar just through that program alone. Upfront cost savings, almost $2 million. The people have saved that program. Is it great? Yeah. If you're interested, come talk to any of us in the office. Julie Roth runs that. We are not selling you solar. If you want to get solar, we will make sure that no one plays around in that system with you, tries to inflate costs. We make sure the process is as seamless as humanly possible. So that's another initiative we run in our office. I don't know, is Jan Culbertson in here? Jan, yeah, Jan. Okay, so one of our collaborators, if you happen to be representing a commercial enterprise, a nonprofit, we work with the 2030 district, now Washtenaw 2030 district. They're under contract with us and they're able to help do energy assessments. Energy Work provides some guidance. Jen is an incredible collaborator, the entire 2030 district is. So I would highly recommend leaning in and having a conversation with them if you represent some type of institution. We also collaborate with the 2030 district on a commercial solar program. So we can help non-residential folks also get the benefits of renewable energy there. You guys okay? We're not bored yet? No, we're not bored yet. We're gonna keep going. Okay. We are also exploring more and more initiatives and programs to help other people have access to renewables. So we partner with the Ann Arbor Housing Commission. They're our nonprofit housing provider for low-income folks. This is affordable housing in the community. We actually take a portion of our budget to fund sustainability improvements at their sites. I'm really excited. I don't even know that this is widely public yet. Last week, we finally got authorization from the county, and we will be making our 121 Catherine Street. I think it's going to be almost carbon neutral because we were able to do geothermal, and we're funding solar. We're funding the geothermal from our office for that site, and we're funding the solar for that particular site. The energy efficiency work that they're doing, the electrification elements, it'll be our almost, I don't know if we're fully there, I don't have the math yet, but almost our first carbon neutral affordable housing site in the city, right? That is really hard. And we were able to fund, thanks to Congresswoman Dingell, I would like $300 million. If anyone would like to give us $300 million, we could do a lot of good work with it. $3 million to do solar and energy efficiency work at all of our affordable housing sites. I'm also working, because it's not enough to do it just in Ann Arbor, we're working on a grant right now throughout the entire county to take 25% of all of the affordable housing sites that exist countywide and fully decarbonize them. So we're putting in that grant application in a few weeks. Hopefully we're successful. That means safer, healthier, more affordable places for the people that most need it, right? So we've got to live those values as we go forward. We've also put together a proposal, and staff have recommended to council that this move forward, for the creation of something called a sustainable energy utility. This is a utility that operates kind of outside of our traditional grid. The idea here is what we need to do is get to renewables and resilience. So let's invest in renewables and resilience. So as a community, as a city, if this would be a municipal utility, it would be 100% renewably powered and operated, completely optional. You don't have to participate. It's not a requirement that you're in. But the idea would be the city would actually buy and put solar panels and a battery on homes, and you would pay your bill like you do today for every unit of production that comes out of that system. We've done numerous technical studies and economic studies, and they're showing that the solar portion is cheaper than your rates today. When you put a battery on, it is cheaper than what you would get if you bought a generator, right? Because of how the system works. So I think about the food pantry here, right? So it's certainly for our homes. We know we're suffering from power outages, but here we've got an incredible community asset that people are dependent on. Power outages, multi-day power outages, you're losing that food, right? And it's not just that. People are losing that food. Our system breaks down. But what if it didn't have to? What if we could actually invest in clean, renewable energy and storage to help make sure that that community value continued to be available to everyone all the time? So that's our idea. Council is taking it up and going to consider whether or not we want to move it forward. We have recommended that it go to a vote of the people in November to see if you actually want us to create this utility. And so you're going to see a lot more opportunities to kind of dive in and learn more about the technical elements there. So those are just some of the things that we think about in our office. The idea is we can't just work with one segment of the community. We can't even work or choose not to work with segments of the community. We have to work with everybody. One of my favorite stories is going and having a conversation with the Washtenaw Area Apartment Association, which represents our landlords. And some of you in here might be landlords. There's a lot of things that the city is doing that impact landlords. And it's really hard, especially if you're a small kind of mom and pop shop. And we were having lunch, and the president at the time said to me, "I am so annoyed with all of the things you are doing." And I said, "So am I." And he goes, "What?" I was like, "I don't want to work this hard. No one in our office wants to pass all of these policies. I am so pissed at everyone who came before us that didn't do these things." But guess what? They didn't. And now we're going to do it. And so you can be mad at me all you want to. But what's the alternative? Because we're not going to be complicit in this moment anymore. We're going to challenge those systems, and we are going to be better because our kids deserve it, because we deserve it, because everyone behind us deserves something better. And so yeah, if you need to be mad at me, be mad at me. Game on, right? You're going to be on the right side of history, right? Like, let's go and get this done. So that is what we're doing. Woo! All right, so I'm going to end here in just a second. I just want to say these are kind of some horizon things. I already talked about the sustainable energy utility as one. We are also launching a circular economy strategy. What does it mean to move towards a circular economy? How do we highlight those who already are advancing the circular economy? How do we elevate those practices, put our resources into them? How do we make it more accessible for everybody to participate in that movement? So you're gonna see a bunch coming out from us in the next few weeks. Public engagement sessions, opportunities to give feedback, tell your story, even lead some of these workshops. We're also working on a sustainable food strategy. I caught Ryan say this earlier. We're launching a sustainable business coalition. The city itself actually is trying to figure out what sustainable food even means to us as an organization. You can imagine, and I'm sure many of you have your own thoughts. I happen to be vegetarian. I came to vegetarianism not through climate. I came from animal rights. That's what brought me into the movement about almost 20 years ago. And that matters a lot to me when I think about sustainable food. But greenhouse gas emissions matter. Workers' rights matter. Local matters. So we've got to reconcile, because it's not actually easy to have all of those things always be true. So what does it mean to have a sustainable food system? And how do we work with the incredible actors like Argus in our community that already exist to elevate their practices, work with our farmers, and really center sustainable food systems, whatever that means and looks like to us, in everything that we do as a community. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity to participate and eat delicious things as part of our public engagement around the sustainable food kind of strategy here. And then we are right now actively doing work on our comprehensive land use plan. So this is coming out of our planning department. Pretty exciting. one of the things I'm most proud of, I've been with the city for 5.5 years, is the institutionalization of climate. When I came to the city, people sort of saw it as a nice to have, right? And my job, I felt like, was to make sure it was just a requirement. It was a requirement for the police chief, who's my peer. It's a requirement for the fire chief. It's a requirement when we're doing planning to be talking about sustainability. And to my surprise, when I got the first draft of an RFP, the 3 things for our land use plan that came out, you can see here, it's our plan has to center in our work affordability, sustainability, and equity. I am really proud of the work that city staff do every day to make sure these values are lived. But right now we're getting public feedback, and I have a slide up in just a second where you can take a quick screenshot, or you can go to this URL and give us feedback. We're in real-time capturing of information of what do you want our community to look like. So I told you one of our goals is 50% reduction in vehicle miles traveled. You don't get that by wishing it. You get it by making sure our land use reflects the values that we have, right? You can do bike lanes and sidewalks everywhere, but if it's still 4 miles to a grocery store, or for you to get diapers for a child, that's not gonna work. You are still going to drive, right? So how do we create the kind of culture and sense of place that we really want, that we love about our community? And we need your voices to lean into what that looks like, because that's really, really critical. This is your place. Tell us what you want this place to look like. So this is just the last sort of slide here. How to get involved. We have a listserv, we have a newsletter. You can sign up. We do not hammer you with things. We send out a newsletter once a month, and then if there's something very timely, we'll send it out to folk broadly. Very low key. There's lots of volunteer opportunities in there. We know people's lives are busy, so don't worry. It's a bad month for you. Just file that away. But maybe it'll be great in September, and you want to join us for a single event. Come out, meet with the community, meet others in this landscape. We've got those share your feedback opportunities. The land use plan is up right now. In the next several weeks, you'll have opportunities on circular economy and food. We also run a grant program. We have $100,000 that we give out for sustainability work every year in the community. We give them out in $10,000 grants or less. Now, here's the kick. It can't be solar for your home, so please don't apply for that. It has to be something that's public, right? So we've done solar at a school, and they developed curriculum about solar energy. We've done public art displays that center on sustainability and reuse. Lots of creative ideas. So if you've got something that's burning in your head, please check out our Sustaining Ann Arbor Together grant. Very low bar application. It's meant to get money out into the community. We are always looking for collaborators who want to host events with us. So if you've got a constituency that you think just needs to know about something, it doesn't have to be all of this, we can dive into food, we can dive into resilience. You know, if that's a topic that is really salient with who it is you're engaging with, let us know, and we'd love to come and listen and learn from that constituency and invite them into the community. We run an A20 ambassador program, and I see some ambassadors. Can I ask my ambassadors to stand really quick? Yay! Our ambassador program, they're basically, let's just throw that. They're extensions of staff who come with us on a 12-week journey to learn all about A20 and then to go out into the community and talk about it, right? To share what it looks like. Because I'm not going to be a trusted broker for some people, right? Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. That's not going to work. But your colleague at work, or the person you sit next to at the mosque or church, or the person you're in the grocery store with, or the person that's child plays soccer with yours, is someone that you have a different relationship with. And so hearing from different brokers really matters in this work. So we are about to launch our next cohort. We'll have it open again, and I saw a few of our new ambassadors coming in here too, which is very exciting. We'll launch our next cohort in the fall. This is an opportunity to come really deep with us. And then if you represent an organization, we run the Collaborators Network. And this is 130 different organizations in the community who work with us to help advance sustainability. So you need to be an organization or represent an organization, but the idea here is lean into your values and we'll help amplify and get resources to you to do the incredible work that you do. So these are just some of the ways you can get involved. Most importantly, just stay in touch. Tell us your stories. Let us know how we can help. You are part of the movement. You are here today. You are giving your gifts, your time, and your talent. And there is no greater thing that I can say to you than my sincerest and heartfelt thank you.